Hello everyone, thank you for being here. I'm very excited to share with you today. I've been really looking forward to making this video. And again, as usual, I'm just going to talk from the heart and share some things that I've been learning and experiencing, and hopefully it's helpful to you. So, the first word that comes to mind is beingness. I just feel this beingness that I've never felt before, at least not necessarily on this earth. And another word that comes to mind is wholeness. And what I really mean by that is just this, it's very different. It's a very different way of living, and hopefully this is relatable, because I feel like we're shifting, and we've been shifting from, you know, this this more ego control. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. I just mean, we have these egos, these like material, self-aware minds that, they have a purpose, to some degree. Of course they have a purpose, otherwise we wouldn't have them. And they teach us a lot, And even though they're very frustrating, a lot of the times, that's really what causes the suffering. That's what causes a lot of just looping and unresolved trauma and so on. And one of the things about the ego, is its biggest thing is it's trying to keep you safe, and so again, it causes a lot of suffering. But again, it has its purposes, and it serves this purpose in this like third dimensional way of keeping us safe, like in the most primitive, survival, basic way possible. And so, and that's how we're programmed. Is so the ego is like, we're programmed that the ego is our guide, our main like control mechanism, whether it's conscious or not. It's usually not conscious, and I find as we continue to evolve, and again, this is always because of the fractal universe, this is true individually and collectively, as we evolve, as we raise consciousness, as we raise our frequency, we raise our vibration, I find it so beautiful. We come into higher and higher degrees of wholeness, of beingness, of just being. And so I think it's interesting to watch, how your relationship with the ego really starts to change. And again, it's not always comfortable, because you have to learn how to trust yourself, and I'll get to that in a second. But this ego's been like the main control system, again, mostly subconsciously, because I think most of us, like, we don't want our ego to be controlling us, at least not anymore. But we're shifting, we're evolving, we're doing this inner work, right? And so as you come into this higher states of beingness, at least in this point we're at, in my experience, it's very, very different, because the ego again is this like material. And I'm not even saying anything negative about the ego. This is just, the ego. It's what it is, no right or wrong, no duality. It's just the ego. It's okay. It wants to keep you safe. It's that the ego is like those voices in your head that are always like, oh, I shouldn't do that, that's not secure, I shouldn't take that risk, I shouldn't go on that trip, I shouldn't do that, I can't do that, how am I going to do that, how could I possibly accomplish that dream? We all have this, this is that, it's a lower dimensional mind, for lack of better words. And it likes to control things, it likes to force things, it likes material logic, it likes, it wants the whens, the hows, the whys, the wheres, like specifically, it wants that control. And that's its way it operates. It wants, in a way, to like force things to happen, from the outside in. At least, again, this is what I find. And again, I'm not even saying anything bad about it, because, I think in the times we've been in a way, it has served us. And now we're really stepping into a new paradigm where the higher self is our guide, our control system, our mind. We're shifting. And again, this is very, very different. And this is just what I've come to learn. And it's very simple, but it's so life changing. When I really connected these dots like this, it really like is like a rocket of like alignment. It really changed my life in a drastic way, you know. So we're going, when you start to let your higher self be your guide, it's a lot different. And of course, it's going to make the ego uncomfortable because it's not really like the ego at all. When you let the higher self be your guide, there's a deep trust you start to have for yourself, for God, for everything around you. It's very divine, because the more you step into your higher self and trust your higher self and allow that to be like your real guide now, it's always going to work out for you. Guaranteed. It's always going to work out for you. It's always going to lead you to your highest truth, your highest happiness, your highest joy, your highest love, your highest bliss, to a degree that seems unbelievable. Sometimes it's amazing. But the thing about it is, you know, it's about letting go. That's why it's so different than the ego. It's like when you let your higher self start guiding you, most of the time you're not really gonna know the hows, the whys, the whens, the wheres, because it's a lot different. And that's what I mean. You're gonna step into a lot more trust in being able to let go. That's really the key word, being able to let go. And it's kind of like a divine paradox, you know, and I'm just so amazed because recently, you know, there's certain things that you know have been very easy for me to let go. You know, it's like effortless. It's just like goodbye. I don't want this in my life. I don't want to worry about this. And I don't know, I'm sure you've experienced like whether it's a small thing or a big thing, when you're able to let go and you just like, it's like all that resistance can just be released, and then like that area of your life will just start going smoothly and it'll be like effortless. You know, that's how this life is. That's when you step into your higher self, everything works out for you and it's literally effortless, at least in the physical way. You're not going to have to force it. You're not going to have to control it. You're not even going to know how or when it's going to happen. It's going to surprise you. It's going to be delightful. It's just going to work out. You know, it's truly amazing how these things are. You don't even, you know, it's like that's just one of those ways that's how God works. God, again, being this higher nature, this higher consciousness, this, you know, again, I don't get caught up on the words. It's just we live in a divine, intelligent, benevolent universe. We're surrounded by it. You know, it's like literally, it's just we have to get out of our own way, you know. But as I was saying, you know, so some things it's so easy to let go of. And then other things, it's like the higher you resonate, and again, the more you start stepping into this wholeness, the more you realize like how much you may have been like clinging on. Like I know I have, like I didn't even really realize, because that's all I've ever been in this life. That's all I've ever done. All I've known is this clinging, this like clinging on to like this control, you know. And when I finally, you know, observed it, I was like, oh wow. And then it's like I'm embodying these higher vibrations for the first time in my life where I can actually just let go. And it's been so phenomenal because it's like now that I've let go of this worry that I didn't even really realize was such a part of me. You know, all these different worries, like you know, like worrying, just worrying about my, I don't know, worrying about my dreams not coming true, worrying about my health, worrying about not having money, worrying about, you know, people in my life, like, you know, all these things. And we all do this. And it's just so amazing when you're able to let go and just trust. And I know it's not always easy, but you can cultivate it, you practice it, you know, and it's inevitable. In time, we are all coming upon this journey. This is the ascension. And that's what's so amazing to me. It seems so unreal, but it is real. And I'm finally able to actually embody this higher degree of wholeness where it's like, it's so new to me that this is life on earth now. Because it's like everything just, you know, it doesn't have to be suffering all the time, you know. I don't know. I think that's relatable because, you know, I really felt that, and I've had not saying that I haven't had a lot of good times in life, but I've just, it's actually, it's hard to explain, but it's just the experience of this density transforming and this density clearing. It blows me away every single day, again, in my own life and what I see in the world, and just how I'm feeling things I've never felt before. It's amazing. It's so exciting, and another thing I want to add to that, because I think it's really helpful. Another thing that's helpful for me is because this is all related. It's like all these things like aligned. It was like a revelation of like, we're going through this duality, and the more you just flow with the negatives and the positives, the more the negatives and positives almost cease to exist. It's like another paradox, because I get a lot of comments on, oh, I love your positivity, and I appreciate that, but to me, it's not even really positivity. It's just love. It's just love, because I go through all this negativity myself. I go through the fear. I used to battle with fear heavily, and and it's like, again, that resistance. It's that ego that really makes it way worse than just trusting it. Just even trusting the darkness, trusting that it's going to be okay, you're going to be fine, trusting that it's actually going to reveal something to you, trust that you have the spiritual power within you to do anything. It's like the more you remind yourself of that, the more you step into that, again, the more this duality is just dissolving. The less we resist it, the less we fear it, the less we hate it. It's just, again, it's a strange paradox, but I hope it makes sense, because it really is life-changing. Because it's like, we all have triggers. We're all being triggered right now. So it's like, when you look at a trigger as like a setback, or you're off your path, or it's, you know what I mean? It's just, I'm feeling fear. I shouldn't feel fear. I shouldn't feel anger. We go and we loop when we resist it. Because it's like our bodies are designed to just like take in this energy, this consciousness, because again, these emotions are just consciousness. Take in these consciousnesses, digest them, and just release them or transmute them. It's very simple. It doesn't take very long. And it's just a feeling. It's like, when you're angry, you don't have to be angry. Again, beingness, you don't have to be it. You're just feeling it, anger. You're feeling it, There's literally nothing wrong with that. We all do that. And again, the less you resist it, the more you can just feel it. And sometimes it only takes like seconds or minutes. If you just really just fully feel it, it's like, ooh, I'm being triggered right now, because that's what I was going on to say, is if you look at it like being triggered, is a disempowering thing, then, again, your beliefs create your reality, and it will be. But the more you start reminding yourself, every time you get triggered, no matter what it is, it's not even worth projecting anything onto anyone anymore, because it's just so much easier to just take responsibility, no matter what it is, no matter what somebody says or whatever you see. Getting triggered, when you start reprogramming yourself to actually look at it as an opportunity to shift your consciousness, as an opportunity to heal yourself, as an opportunity to create something new that you want in your life, that you want to see in your world, it makes such a difference, because then again, that duality like dissolves, because no longer is that negativity something to hate or something to fear. It just is, and it's an opportunity to shift. Again, we're shifting. This is like us shifting out of this third dimension. It's like, it's truly amazing to actually be a part of, because it's one thing to say it, and I've known it, and I've spoken about this for years, but to actually feel it is such a surprise. I can't believe the things that we're going through, and now we're getting to experience and actually witness as this shift happens, watching this duality shift in real time. I've always been hung up on, I think we all have, this duality is intense on this planet, in this world, in this realm. I've always felt that duality, that polarity so deeply. So it's amazing to watch it, just like, it feels like it's just dissolving, the more I can just be, the more I can just flow, the more I can just trust God always, and know, even if something seems like it's not working out, it's working out. It's divine. It's like a divine geometry. you know? So it really is life-changing when you start to look at anything that triggers you. You know, it's like I feel lack, I feel scared, I feel angry, I feel helpless, I feel like a victim. It's like you start observing that, and as soon as you feel that, just know that, oh, I'm going to feel it and I'm going to shift it. And every single time you come out of that, and sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes, I mean, once you really practice this, and we're all going to have so many opportunities to practice this, of course, because again, we're all being triggered right now. That's part of how we're healing this divide. The easier it gets, and the more you can just flow, it's really amazing. And you just start to flow, and you just start to trust your higher self. And something else that helps is just, the affirmation, I am safe. Because when that ego tries to come in with its anxiety, you know what I mean? It's like, we've all experienced this anxiety, no matter how we experience it. It's like, oh, I shouldn't feel fear. Like, as soon as you feel fear, sad, or anger, it's like that ego's like, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? I'm not safe. So it's like, that's something that's helped me a lot. It's like, I am safe. Like, in every moment, it's like, I am safe. We have to remind ourselves sometimes, like on a almost primal level, like, I am safe. I'm just feeling an emotion. I'm not going to die. It's fine, So these are things that you can add to your toolkit, in your Ascension toolkit, so to speak. Even if that sounds corny, it's really helpful to start developing, this idea of like a toolkit. Like, what are some techniques and things you can do or remind yourself or think about or feel that work for you personally as we're navigating these shifts, as we're navigating this intensity. For me, things like I said, coming back to the present moment, just learning to trust myself, learning to trust the processes, learning to, trust the divine flow of everything, because everything is always working out, especially when you can just let go. When you really hold on and you just want to control something or force something, that's that ego, and you're gonna spin in that for a long time, and that's when things will seemingly keep going wrong, so to speak. It's like when you finally just let go and be and trust, it's like it's magic remedy. It's like that. It's crazy. It's beautiful. It really is. It's very exciting to be a part of. Another thing is just being the observer, breathing. Again, I am safe, or any affirmations, but I am safe is really, really helpful. I think I neglected that affirmation for a while because I don't really think about it. And so it really helped me to come back to that and remind myself. And again, reminding yourself every time you feel those triggers, remind yourself it's just an opportunity. It's just unresolved trauma coming up to be cleared. It's amazing. It's a blessing. When you really remind yourself that, and it might be hard at first, but again, repetition, the more you do it, the more it's just going to be natural. And the more, again, that triggering, that negativity, it just comes out. It just, you know what I mean? And we keep shifting. It's going to get, lighter and lighter and lighter. It's just incredible. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for all your love and support. I hope you're all doing well. Feel free to comment your experience in the comments below. I really enjoy reading them, and I know a lot of people do. So it's really a great community for us to relate. And I think the last thing I do want to share today is I had just a really quick little vision this morning, because I'm feeling this wholeness like I've never felt. It's such an amazing breakthrough that I'm feeling, in being able to let go of control on like a whole new level, of just being able to let go and just trust, and then watch all these blessings come into my life, things I've been waiting for so long. It's like they say, and this is so true, it's like God is infinitely more ready to just give you everything freely than we are ready to receive these gifts. It's funny, but the more we allow ourselves to trust and let go, the more we can be open to actually receiving all of the amazing treats and blessings and delights that God truly does want to give us. And another thing is, all this suffering is worth it. And another thing I realized is this suffering is, it's something we came here to experience, because even though it's not necessarily fun to suffer as a human, it teaches you so much. It really teaches you so much. And it's also kind of a unique attribute of this reality. So it is, from a higher perspective, it is actually, something that as we continue to shift and evolve into these higher states, we will look back at that and we will, appreciate that, and we will like see how we were able to handle that, and how strong we were, and how amazing we are. So, and the last thing I'll say, and this is just really short, is just I just closed my eyes and started seeing like all these colorful geometric fractals. And I've not, that's something that we see a lot, I think, in this kind of realm. But and one of my guys I see a lot is Thoth. Just sharing, I just feel like sharing. And so I just had this grokking, this inner knowing, and of like, it's hard to put into words, but just, of this eternity, of this consciousness is all there is. How much this is an illusion, how much this is a matrix. Not even in a bad way, but it's like this is a realm where we are creating our experience, and there's literally infinite possibilities. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to put into words, even though, again, it's so simple. I just want to share that because I think we all have that. And I get people asking me, like, about visions or about visualizing or seeing. And I also want to say that, it's not for me, everyone's different, everyone's unique. But for me, it's not even that visual, my inner sight. It's not even actually that visual. And I think for some people it is. But it's not even like I'm watching a movie per se. It's more like an inner knowing and feeling than it is even visual, if that makes sense. So, if you have a hard time actually visualizing, don't be discouraged by that. Just keep honing in on your inner feeling, on your inner knowing, because consciousness is very, I don't know, it's very deep. It's not, it doesn't have to be like for some people it is like watching a movie when you have these visions, but it's not always like that. It can just be something you feel, and it's like, just like that word grok, it's just a grokking, it's just an inner knowing. Like seeing colorful geometric patterns may not sound that exciting, but it was more just like the inner knowing and revelation of like, we are truly creating this experience. We are eternal. We have the spiritual power to create anything we want in this life. Again, the more we can just let go, and create and intend, we create from the inside out. That's the new earth. We create from the inside out. That's our true matrix in this world, which again is just another fractal. So thank you so much again for listening. I love you all. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope this was some food for thought, some food for the heart. I hope it was inspiring, and I will see you next time. Thank you.